I cannot even begin to tell you the contraption that I have to keep my camera on a decent level with my face. Let's hope it doesn't fall down halfway through this. But hey, higher quality, right? So, I missed you guys. Hello, word nerds, and happy Saturday. I would tell you what day it was. It's still June, right? I've been writing so much, so you're lucky I even know it's Saturday. Today on Vlogger's Choice, I'm going to talk to you about proofing your book, because guess what? In case you didn't know or hear somewhere on the internet, my most recent release, Madly Deeply, just came out this past Tuesday, June 17th, 2014. I only remember that date because I had to write it down so many times. The release of Madly Deeply was pretty rushed because it was a last minute, I'm going to publish this, it should be its own standalone book, kind of pushed by Kelly Sheridan, whom I will be forever grateful for. Thank you, Kelly. In case I haven't said it, thank you. For the headaches, but thank you. So Madly Deeply was a very rushed production. I edited it all in about 2 weeks. It was formatted in a couple of days. The cover was designed quickly, and then whoosh, into the world. But that last week before its release was pretty scrambled and stressful. Mostly because I had to proof the book, which is the coolest part of the entire publishing process in my opinion, but also kind of the most scary, intimidating, God, I hope I get this right part of the process. Is that a good name for that process? Yeah, sure. God, I hope I get this right. So what is proofing your book? Well, basically when you self-publish or publish to any print-on-demand site, once you upload all of your files for the cover and the interior of your book, once that's all formatted and approved, you then will order your proof of your book. Your proof will ship to you, usually in a paperback, and you will then look through it and make sure there aren't any mistakes before you approve it for publishing. Madly Deeply has 2 proofs. The first proof is this one, and I got it last Thursday, and I was pretty excited about it because it looked awesome, but I did notice a couple of problems. First was the cover itself. The title came out much darker. In fact, the entire image came up much darker than it was on my computer, so I knew immediately I was going to have to order a second proof and go in and lighten this image up, and also work on the text to make it actually visible, because when you can't read the deeply in Madly Deeply, it's just madly, and so when I got Madly Deeply, the first proof, what I did was go through the entire book, first outside, then inside. You start with the outside, looking at the cover, the spine, and the back cover. You make sure that it's cropped correctly, that the lighting is correct. Obviously I had a problem with mine. That nothing is cut out that needs to be, and that it's actually your cover, in case there was any kind of problem and you uploaded the wrong file. Then you go to the spine, make sure that it's, again, cut correctly, that the title is fully in view on it, and your name, and if you have a publisher, sticker, or logo. And then the back cover, which is perhaps the most important when it comes to cropping, because you don't want that summary to bleed over onto the spine or off the page and for it to be cut off. Like, everything is in place where it has to be. Simple enough. After you proof the outside of your book, you go inside. Ooh. What you'll do is you go page by page. Now this is very tedious work, but you will go through every single page, kind of read through your book, make sure that you have all of the interior formatting correct. You want to make sure that there isn't any gutter problems, which is this part of the book. Gutter problems is if it's too far in and it cuts off part of the text, or if it's too far out. I've had one book that was like this spaced, which just looks insane. You want to make sure that every chapter heading is right. If you have your book separated into parts, you want to make sure that the parts start on a new page. This sounds crazy, but you also want to double check that every page number is correct, because when you self-publish and design your own interior, sometimes the page numbers are off. Erica. When you're going through the interior and you're also checking all of the simple visual corrections that you might need to do, read through it and double check you haven't had any typos or problems in your editing, because I did notice 1 or 2 mistakes that I had forgotten to change, and luckily I was able to change them before I hit publish. So make sure when you go to proof your book you have a checklist. Step 1, exterior of the book. Front cover, spine, back cover. Is the bleed right? Is the coloring correct? Is there anything cut off? Any typos that you notice that you need to change? Remember, the front cover of your book is usually the first impression you'll get ever to make on a person, and while it might show up fine on Amazon, if it's delivered to you and it just looks sloppy, then you go inside the pages and you make sure everything is where it needs to be. And once you finish looking at your proof, and then maybe order a second proof, better and more visible with everything, and all of your corrections are made, what you will do is hit publish. It will take a few days to render and it will be out in the world. And it's just so cool to hit publish. Because you have a book and you wrote it and people can buy it. Speaking of which, the links for Madly Deeply are below. If you are interested, check it out. Help a poor college student out who's trying to make writing her full-time career once she graduates with so much debt. I hope you guys learned a little bit about proofing your book and just what the process is. I wrote a blog post over on my website that you can read further into detail and see some pictures of the two varying covers, specifically pointing out what changes I made. I will leave that link below, and make sure to join us this Sunday evening, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are talking about the 4 first impressions in a book. First sentence, first paragraph, first page, first chapter. Because sometimes it's not only the exterior that you have to worry about. In fact, most of the time it's the interior. I hope you guys can join us, and until then, I love you nerds, and I will see you Sunday.